Hi, I'm Ryan Bozan, and I'm with Steve North, the comedy coach, and he's going to teach us all about stand-up comedy to get us going the right way, the fast way, by teaching the comedic character method. Well, I guess it's a little bit more than just being funny, right, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. I think the most important thing to learn is the difference between being a comic and being a comedian.
Comic, comedian, that sounds like the same to me.
I know, but basically a comic says funny things, but a comedian is a funny person.
Well, don't you want to say funny things too?
Yeah, but you want to be a funny person saying funny things. That's the difference. Instead of just laughing at jokes, you're feeling who this character is and what's funny about them. Okay. Picture a comedy hero of yours, somebody you really like. Picture them performing in your mind, okay? Okay, so that little smile that's coming to you, it's not from a joke they're telling. You're just feeling their personality, right?
Okay, I get it. Well, let's take a look at some great comedians where you feel their comedic character personality.
Now, you know what I'm saying? I need a woman that's built like a woman, not like this. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. No, I'm sorry. More like this. How does this happen? How can a woman be so skinny with a big head? Is your father a mascot? How did that even happen?
You have boyfriend? No, I don't have a boyfriend. Honey, why you don't have? You look so pretty, like model, cheerleader, something pretty. You like long or short nail? Short nails, please, thanks. Oh, honey, that's why you don't have a boyfriend.
See, there's two types of clowns. There's clowns that, put on makeup to look like clowns so they can go to birthday parties. Then there's clowns that put on makeup to look like people so they can go to the liquor store.
Fellas, if you think arranged marriage is a bad idea, think about how cool it could be. Think about it. In America, you're at a club. You go up to the hottest girl in the club. You're like, hey, baby, you want to dance? She's like, no. And you could say, oh, too bad, because my dad talked to your dad, and guess what? We're dancing.
Well, Steve, what are we going to learn?
Okay, well, the first thing we're going to learn is to be a comedian and not a comic, to be a funny person, not a joke teller.
Okay.
Okay. Then we're going to learn to create our own unique comedic character, because everybody has a different one.
So we all have our own.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we're going to learn the most important writing formulas for creating great stand-up material.
Formulas? This sounds like a science.
It is.
Well, is there a way we can wrap this all up?
Yeah, then we're going to wrap it up by learning performance techniques so you can get up there and really do it.
Great, I'll be here all week.
Yeah, the bright lights are yours.
All right, Steve, what are the steps in developing a comedic character?
Well, the thing is that your comedic character is your personal theme or your focus. And if you can get it, it'll save you 5 years of your time when you're developing your stand-up act. It's like knowing what house you're going to live in before you buy the furniture.
Oh, okay, I get it. Like the jokes are the furniture and your house is your comedic persona.
Exactly, and that's what makes you a comedian and not a comic.
All right, sounds great. Well, let's take a look at some clips of some great stand-ups and notice you're laughing more at who they are than what they are saying.
Right.
As you're all looking at me, I'm aware of the word that comes across your minds. I'll put it out there for you. Success. It's not a lifestyle I've chosen. It was thrust upon me. I only ever wanted to be an actor, a great actor like Danny Bonaducci.
Relax, I'm not really black. It's a birthmark. It started out small, but I scratched it spread all over the place. Now I don't get taxis.
I used to teach. Yeah, buddy, yeah, it's hard being a teacher, especially when the kids flirt with you. Makes you feel real uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, Mr. Irby, looking good, looking good. Hi.
Okay, Steve, let's talk about how someone gets a comedic character.
Sure. Well, it has to be based on some truths about you. That's the most important thing to understand. Then we exaggerate it. That's how you create it. You know what a caricaturist artist does when they take a face? What they do is they take a feature, a true feature, and they greatly exaggerate it. That's what your comedic character is. I've worked with a lot of stars, and that's all they're doing. They're taking a truth about themselves and really exaggerating it.
So it's got to be truth about me, too?
Well, sure.
Well, I guess my character's a little bit of a narcissist.
Gee, big surprise.
Well, thanks, Steve. And I guess I open my show sometimes, I say, well, you guys are going to have a great time tonight looking at me.
Yeah, that's right, because that exaggerates your narcissism.
I get it. Well, let's take a look at some clips of some stand-ups where they're exaggerating a true part of themselves.
We don't think the same way, right? Latinos, like, I'm Latino broke. Anybody else? Latino broke? See, Latino broke is good because, like, when the economy collapsed, I didn't even know. Right? Everybody on CNN, oh my God, the market went down. I'm like, what? The supermarket? What happened?
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name for the record is David Gee, comedian extraordinaire, fresh off my triumphant performance at Applebee's open mic night in La Puente. Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, I just got my girlfriend's name tattooed on my body. I know what they say about that, right? Third time's a charm, and this time, it's gonna work this time.
Man, and people in Hollywood, like, women in Hollywood look crazy. Like, I know I look crazy, but that's an accident. Like, people...
Okay, Steve, what is the first step in creating a comedic character?
Okay, well, there's actually two parts to a comedic character. The first part is the word flaw. There has to be something wrong with you. Not funny if everything's okay. Like, if I said, hey, there's something funny going on here, what am I saying?
There's something wrong going on here?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you need to be funny.
Well, what would we do in my case when there is no flaw?
Well, actually, that is your flaw.
Okay, I get it. I guess it wouldn't be funny if I said, my name's Ryan Bozan, I finished #1 at Harvard.
Well, unless it was Harvard Traffic School.
So we're actually doing reverse therapy here.
Right. We're going to make you worse, which in your case is going to be kind of hard, but we're going to go for it anyway.
Well, thanks, Steve. Let me throw out some famous comedian names, and you let me know what their flaw is.
Go.
All right. Jerry Seinfeld.
No life. Everything he says is unimportant.
Okay. Kathy Griffin.
A horrible gossip, backstabber, makes fun of celebrities.
Lisa Lampanelli.
Gross, insulting.
One of my favorites, Louis C.K.
A loser overwhelmed by everything. How about this one? Chelsea Handler.
Well, she's a drunken slut.
Exactly. Louis Black.
Well, he gets upset. Too upset?
Too upset, that's right. Dane Cook.
Well, the small things are either a huge adventure or a huge nightmare.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Obnoxious.
George Carlin is too...
Angry.
Right. How about this one? Austin Powers.
Well, he's not a comedian.
No, but he's a great comedic character.
Well, he's a nerd.
Yeah, he's a big nerd who thinks he's sexy.
So basically, all these comedians have a flaw.
That's right, and that's why they're big stars.
Great, well, let's take a look at some clips.
Yeah, and notice that you're laughing at the flaws.
I had trouble with the law too. I almost didn't make it to the show on time because I got pulled over for speeding. It was cool though. The cop was really cool. He said, I'm just gonna give you a warning. Drive carefully. We don't want you getting into an accident. It's like, wow, I learned something. I'm really pretty. It's amazing you could tell that because I was driving so fast.
I saw a poster at a coffee shop once. It said, Lost Dog, reward $5,000. And then underneath that it said, no questions asked. I think there's going to be some questions. Otherwise, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the first animal I see on the streets. I'm going to bring it to these people. Like, what is that, a cat? That sounds like a question, actually.
Okay, Steve, you said there were two parts of a comedic character. The first was flaw.
Right.
The second?
The second part is blind spot, and it's very important because what it means is that the character cannot be aware of what's funny or strange about them. Otherwise, you wouldn't laugh at them. You only laugh at them when you realize they don't get it.
Well, I don't get it. Can you explain a little more?
Okay, like if Jerry Seinfeld came out and said, now I know this isn't very important, what the shape of elevator buttons are, but they don't fit my fingers, and I really would like to rant about it even though it's not important. See, you wouldn't laugh. Or how about this, when Rodney Dangerfield was alive, if he came out and said, now I know I'm a foolish old man and my eyes bug out and I dress funny, but I sure would like to get some respect. Not funny, right?
I get it. So if the character understands what's wrong with them, instead of laughing, you'll be like, you know what's wrong with you, go get help.
Exactly, and you wouldn't laugh. Let's look at some clips of comedians and notice that they don't seem to be aware of their flaw.
Their blind spot.
Right.
I actually asked my agent, I said, hey man, you think it'll be all right if I do the show? He said, Bombo, we've been over this, I'm not your agent, I'm your parole officer. This guy is such a jerk, man. Always wants to know where I'm at, who I'm with, what I'm doing. I'm like, bro, can't you follow me on Twitter?
I get comedic character. You know, character is a must. But you gotta have jokes. You said you had some formulas. What are they?
Well, we're gonna learn some important formulas, and the first one is writing stand-up material based on your own comedic character.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, it's kind of simple, really. You take truths about yourself, maybe flaws, you exaggerate them till they're funny. That's how you do it.
Well, according to you, I have no shortage of flaws, so I should be good, right?
You should be great. Here's what you do. Picture somebody that knows you really well. And if you went up to them and you said, I know you like me, but what are some things about my behavior you would change? What would they say? You can take anything they say and exaggerate it.
Okay, my friends say I procrastinate. How would I use that?
Well, that's easy. You would take it, you would exaggerate it big, add a blind spot, and you get something funny. Like my friends say I procrastinate, but next week I'm gonna do my back taxes, I'm gonna clean the yard, and the week after that, I'm gonna get right on that potty training thing.
Oh, I get it. Potty training, that's the big surprise.
Right, and then you not acknowledging that there's anything strange about you not being potty trained, that's the blind spot.
Okay, like I had this line in my act. I saw this guy last week and he was hot. I'm not gay, but damn, and I was walking towards him and he started walking towards me. I looked up and waved and he waved back, and then I realized I was looking in the mirror.
Right, very good. Let's look at some comedians now. Notice how their flaw and their blind spot play together in these.
I don't have a lot of moves to put on the women. I have this one move that I've been working on, but it's not really ready. This is my one move. I see a pretty girl, and I look at her. And that's it. That's all I have. If she doesn't slip of that, I'm lost. I'm like, I don't know. I tried everything. Just a prude, I guess.
What I hate more than anything is when someone's driving and on their cell cut you off and they don't even know it. It happened to me today. I was like, Jared, get off your phone! Yeah, sorry, someone just cut me off. Didn't even realize it.
This is great, Steve. Keep them coming.
Okay.
But maybe one that's not so bad on me.
Well, that might be hard, but okay, here's the next major formula. I call it just exaggeration. You can exaggerate anything. The trick is you have to exaggerate large enough to surprise people, because people don't laugh unless they're surprised.
Yeah, like Chelsea Handler has that one joke. I just had 4 drinks. Let's see how the afternoon goes.
Yeah, right. A lot of people fall into the trap of not exaggerating big enough. Like, here would be an example. I don't want to say my buddy's put on a few pounds, but last night he couldn't fit through the front door. See, that's not a big enough exaggeration. It gets a smile. What you don't want is the sound of 100 people smiling in a nightclub, because that's the same as the sound of 100 people at a funeral.
How's this one? Is this big enough?
Okay.
I don't want to say my buddy put on a few pounds, but last night he showed up on Google Earth.
Yes. Maybe you will be here all week.
I'll be here all week.
All right.
Well, let's take a look at some clips of some comedians exaggerating big.
I actually hate where I live. I moved to the ghetto right now, where I feel sorry for my neighbors upstairs. Everybody's always fighting up there, the husband and wife. Wife always picks on the husband, and she sounds like a car alarm. Every night I just hear her yelling at him going, what? 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 Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! I just want to run up there and be like, shut up!
I went to Canada. You ever go there on purpose? Wow. It's, I swear it was like going back in time. Like I got there, I felt like I should thank Marty McFly for the ride. It was so, it's like 1978 in Canada. That's the only way I can explain it. They have this gas station. I go to this gas station. First of all, they have the metric system, which is a nice joke we played on Canada. Oh yeah, we're gonna switch over to Canada. All right, have a good one. And then we just never did it. They get you back though, because I go to the gas station, it says like $1.27 on the pump. I was like, oh my God, I'm making money on this trip, you know? And then I fill the tank up and it's $198. And when you're high and you see math like that.
Well, those first 2 formulas were great, Steve. What's next?
All right, well, this one is called The Switch, and it's major. You almost can't see a minute of comedy without seeing a switch. It's just another way of creating surprise.
You're teasing me, Steve.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
But what is it?
Okay, well, here's what it is. Like the name implies, you switch something, right? So you misdirect and then you switch. So for example, I was in this tough biker bar, and you should have seen these people. Wiry beards and scars and beefy, hairy forearms, and you should have seen the guys.
Ah, so you switched to who there? You know, you were talking about beards, and I thought you were talking about men, but
Right.
you're really talking about chicks.
And that's the trick with the switch. You have to misdirect in the setup.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
I'm really depressed. I just had to leave this woman I've been living with for a lot of years.
Oh.
And finally, I just had to say, I gotta leave, Mom.
Oh, Mom, good. That's a good switch. You may be here all week.
I will be here all week, Steve.
So, Ryan, we can actually switch the who, the what, the when, the where, even the attitude.
Well, we've switched to who. Can you give me an example of switching to what?
Okay. I love my new place. I mean, I really love it. I just put in all this deep pile carpeting, this great new stereo system. I just love living in my car.
All right, one more. Switch to where?
All right, here's the thing. My wife really annoys me because during the football games, she is always vacuuming. Drives me crazy. And she's like, I don't see why you're bothered. It doesn't bother anyone else in the stadium.
Cool. Can I switch to when? Can I do the when?
You feel up to it?
Let's see. You know, Steve, I am a fully developed human being. Can you believe that there was a time where I was crawling around on the floor? I couldn't talk. I even needed help going to the bathroom. And to think, that was just last Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right, very good. I think you might be here all week.
All right.
I have an idea. Let's look at some really good comedians doing some funny switches.
Let's do it.
All right.
Last year alone, I went to Israel. I went to China. I went to Scotland. I went to Africa. Yeah, and it was good to go to the motherland. You know what I'm saying? Because I never been to Scotland. You know what I'm saying? Just to sort of connect with my people.
I got thug friends. They Twitter the worst stuff ever. Like went to court today. They dropped the charges, stuff like that. You know. The pregnancy test came back negative. You know. I'm like, damn, mom. You know.
I'm your typical average California mom. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and 3 black kids.
So keep them coming, Steve. What's the next formula?
All right, well, this is the last one we're going to cover, and it's a big one. It's called the combination or out of context. And basically what you do is you take two things that really don't belong together and you put them together. It's kind of like putting a donkey's head on a turtle's body, okay? Like, you remember when you were a kid? You used to do these things like, what do you get when you cross a fish and an elephant? Well, you get swimming trunks.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I know. I know, it's stupid, but it happens to be the basis of a very powerful comedy formula, okay? Like, let's say I say, you know, I'm dating this dental hygienist, and I really think she likes me because she wants to see me again in 6 months.
Yeah, and then you go to pick her up on the date, and she has you wait in a waiting room and read a magazine.
Yeah, and when she takes you to the car, she makes you put your car seat all the way down.
Yeah, and after she kisses you, she makes you spit.
Oh, God. As a matter of fact, Ryan, there have been entire TV series and movies based just on one combination joke. Like The Sopranos, gangsters in therapy. Two worlds that don't go together.
Yeah, like that movie Ted, where they take a teddy bear and a dirty old man and put it together. Kind of like you.
Thanks. And for those of us who might remember it, the Beverly Hillbillies. You take Okies from the mountains, move them to Beverly Hills, and you get people that when their washing machine breaks, they put it out on the front lawn.
I see. So you take two worlds that really don't match, and you make them live together.
Right. Comedian Jake Johansson has a combination joke about if he had octuplets, he would have them in a box outside of the hospital with a big sign that says, "Free babies."
Combining the worlds of babies and puppies.
Right. So the thing is, Ryan, combination jokes have different rules than the other formulas. Basically, the most important thing to do is not to misdirect, but to clearly say what the two worlds are, the fish and the elephant, because the audience can't anticipate how it's going to come together for the surprise.
Like if we were going to combine Disneyland with a prison theme.
Right.
You'd have like, it's a small cell after all.
Or the Main Street electrical chair.
Or Pirates of Solitary Confinement.
Right. Tell you what, why don't we let some really good comedians show us how to do the combination?
I used to watch a lot of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when I was a kid. I used to love that show. Yeah. Freaked me out, though, when I found out he used to be a sniper for the military. But that kind of makes sense. It's probably where he made all of his imaginary friends. Is that our target, King Friday? And then that freaky song that he comes up with after every show. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. Such a happy feeling you're growing inside. And when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll make it a snappy new day.
If you guys watch the news, they're saying that Latinos are terrorists now, really? That we're a threat to Homeland Security, right? You're never gonna see a Mexico, in the name of Guadalajara, and try to blow himself up. You're never gonna see that.
I could never be a gangster rapper. How scary might gang be? 15 redheads coming to your neighborhood,
all covered in sunscreen. We're all mad because it's hot, but stop pushing, Trevor. That sun is bright, all right? All right, this will be our redheaded gang sign.
I got dumped by a black Republican. Yeah, that's like getting dumped by a unicorn. I was like, you can't break up with me. I don't even believe in you.
So those are the basic big four formulas for creating a lot of comedy material.
Right. You got writing jokes from the character, you've got exaggeration, you've got the switch, and you've got combination jokes or out of context. Now those are the basics. Next up, the performance.
The fun part. Okay, Steve, I got my comedic character.
Right.
I got some great material based on my character and the formulas. Am I ready to get on stage?
No.
Ouch.
Well, because the most important part is that you have to learn how to perform it. Besides the writing and the creating of the character, without a good performance, none of it works.
Okay, Steve, give me the rundown. What are the performance skills?
Well, the first most important thing to understand is that stand-up comedy is a conversation. It's not a monologue or a sketch or a performance. You want to give the audience the experience that you're just talking to them.
I know what you mean. When I watch really good comedians, even on TV, I feel like they're talking directly to me.
And that's how it should feel. The art of stand-up comedy is giving the audience the feeling, the experience of having a truly flawed individual having a conversation with you.
So Steve, what are these performance skills that we need to learn?
Okay, well, first is audience connection, making an audience connection. Secondly, being conversational and real. Then coming from your attitude and your character. And then finally, timing and delivery.
The first one, audience connection. What is it, Steve?
Okay, well basically, Ryan, audiences are in one of two states. Either they're listening to your act, judging it, deciding if your jokes are funny, or they're just taken in by your conversation, and they're not even thinking if you're funny. That's where you want them. You don't want them in that first state.
Yeah, been there, done that. Not very fun.
Right. The way you avoid that is you look at them, look them in the eye, talk to them like you're talking to a good friend. Have the conversation.
So what you're saying is, make eye contact. Talk to them, don't perform at them.
That's right. They should have no clue you're performing. Just look at them and talk to them like they're a good friend over lunch.
Sounds great. Well, let's take a look at some comedians that are really connecting with the audience.
I want one because I'm a little scared of stuff. Like, I used to live in Minnesota and there's bears there, which are terrifying. I'm so afraid of bears. And here's the thing, this is why I'm afraid of bears. Here's the thing, you've never in your life read a news story about a bear that's positive ever. You've never read a news story like a bear found a baby at a campsite and gave it back to its parents and kissed it on the forehead. Like, that's never happened. And this is a true story. There was a woman that was camping with her husband and she was feeding a bear trail mix out of her hand. And she ran out of trail mix. Yeah.
We just played, right? You just showed up and you played. There was no park. You just played in the neighborhood and you know what streets you couldn't pass. And sometimes you get crazy, man. I'm going, I don't care. By the time you got home, your dad's already on the porch. Where were you? Didn't I tell you not to go over there? Didn't I tell you?
So the second one, Steve, be conversational and real.
Yeah, that's really important because if you're not being real, the audience knows you're doing jokes and they're not going to be surprised at your punchlines. Therefore, you're not going to get the laughs you want. You have to sound like you're talking literally off the top of your head. Like, did you have a good time with your family growing up? Did you like your family?
Yeah, I had a good time.
How about your mom? Did you
Love
get
my
along with her?
mom. She was great.
Yeah, my mom, not quite so much. My mom's in show business. Have you ever seen the 60 Minutes show?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, that's my mom going.
Oh, yeah, I see. It felt like you were just talking to me off the top of your head. It felt real. And when it came time for the punchline, I was surprised.
Yeah, and people don't laugh unless they're surprised.
Got it. Well, let's take a look at some clips of some more comedians And notice how they're being conversational and real.
Parking's a bitch here. You know I got a $350 handicap parking ticket? I deserved a ticket, but $350? You would have thought I parked on a handicap and backed up a couple times. I parked in front of a roller rink. Duh! Who's gonna be parking there, right?
My last name is Sardui. That doesn't help, does it? Nobody knows what that is. One girl was like, is that like a sandwich? It can be. You got a friend?
It sucks having a lazy eye as a guy, because it'll get me in trouble sometimes. I'm at a bar, club, just trying to have a good time. Some guy will get in my face all aggressive, like, dude, bro, you looking at me? I'm like, no. I mean, maybe. I could have been. I'm really not sure.
Okay, Steve, number 3. How can I come from my persona and add attitude to my material?
One simple word: passion. You have to say things like you really care about them. No matter how ridiculous or stupid the thing you're talking about, you have to be passionate about it.
Do it like you're not trying to say something funny.
Exactly. Remember, the character doesn't think what he's saying is funny. He really cares about it. Like, you don't just say, I really don't like people who say, have a nice day. There's no passion there. You got to grab the audience. You got to go, I hate people who tell me to have a nice day. I can't stand it. Who are they to tell me when to have a nice day and when I should do it? See, passion. You got to add passion.
I get it. I have a line in my act where I say, this girl calls me cheap. I guess I should say it more like, this girl called me cheap.
Right.
Me, Ryan Bozan, cheap. I am not cheap. I'm broke.
Right, that's it. Passion. Now let's go watch some good comedians being passionate with their material.
I was in a hotel room with my lady, having a nice, peaceful morning. I fart. And I know it's a good one, because of the warmth. Feel it. So I go for it, right? Ha! Throw it right over her head, nail her. She's like, no, stop, I don't want it. This would have been the funniest thing to ever happen if at this exact moment the maid wouldn't have been walking in to service the room and heard the faint distress calls of a woman and me going, yeah, girl, take it all.
I can't go to Starbucks no more because they're nosy, right? The next time you go to Starbucks, they're like, what's your name? I'm like, girl, I don't even know you, right? Just give me my coffee. Right? But I'm a hater. I always give them a different name. They're like, Morpheus, Mocha Frappuccino, Morpheus, Leonidas. This is my coffee. Today latte, tomorrow mocha.
The last performing skill we're to learn, Ryan, is timing and delivery.
Yeah, Steve, I remember when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I wanted to get to my jokes as fast as I could, but I realized that didn't always work out so well.
That's a big mistake that a lot of beginners make. You gotta slow down. Remember, speed kills. It stops you from doing your sentences and your words the way they need to be hit. You gotta think of it like music. You're hitting beats, pauses, beats.
Like in a real conversation.
Right. Like, did you know I've been married 45 years?
No, I didn't.
And do you know how hard it is to keep it fresh after all that time?
How hard is it, Steve?
It's very hard, Ryan. But luckily, my wife is a good sport. Do you know what she let me do last weekend?
What did she let you do?
She let me dress her up like our neighbor's wife.
Good one, Steve. Well, let's take a look at some real comedians hitting their beats and not rushing.
Last week I was giving this girl my number, and as I was writing it down for her, she starts giggling. And she goes, that's funny. You write like an Asian. I don't even know what that means. But I was so offended by what she said, I almost dropped my sword.
I can't turn off ceiling fans. I know nothing about ceiling fans. Go up to a ceiling fan, it's like, And then start listening for the noise. You know, it's like, Then you have to manually stop it. You know, it's like,
Okay, Steve, I think we got a great start. We learned the most important skills to get us going in stand-up comedy the right way.
So let's summarize what they are. 1, develop your comedic character, your persona.
Use exaggeration, switch, and combination formulas to write great material.
And be a great performer by connecting,
being conversational and real,
slow down,
and use attitude.
So, see you on stage.
We'll be here all week.